Hi everyone, hopefully you can hear me today. I'm not the only one in lab, so I'll be masked up for this video. But today we're going to be talking about how to run a gel. Gels in our lab are used in order to visualize our product from our nested PCRs. There are two different types of protocols we're using. Today I'm going to be showing you the 5S, but there's also the 16S. So just make sure what base pair that you expect. For 16S we're looking around 600, for 5S is around 200. In order to start the gel, you need to go to the next room, go to the sliding fridge, and pull out one of your gels. They look like this. Leave the combs inserted for right now. Grab one of your red gel rigs, put the right-hand side in first, and snap it in place. There should be a clear snap, and I even like to push around the edges, because if it's not in correctly, then the current's not gonna run all of your wells. So it's nice and good in. Now you're going to plug your gel rag in at the top. It'll make that noise. Click one of these buttons, just hold it. Come on. I'm trying to reuse a gel, so it's mad. There we go. It doesn't really like me to reusing gels, but since this is a practice, I would like to show you with an old gel so I don't have to use a new one. So once you hold one down, it should make that flashing green light. That means it's going through this 2-minute pre-run in order to make the wells super crisp. We're gonna place this down for now, and we're gonna get our supplies. Our supplies live in this pink box located in this fridge on the bottom. And it's clearly labeled electrophoresis reagents. And in this box, you really need two things. You need diluted dye. It's clearly labeled, it says dye, and it says diluted with the date and my name. And 100 base pair ladder. So because 200 base pairs is about the 5S region, then you really do need the 100 base pair ladder. The 1 KB ladder in here starts at 250 on the ladder itself. So it's not gonna work for you. It'll work for your 16S protocol, but not your 5S. So make sure you grab the right ladder for which protocol you're using. There's also some undiluted dye in here, but I find it very hard to see my PCR product when I use this full strength intense dye. So I like to dilute it down, but it's a bit of a preference on how much you dilute it down. So I got both of these guys, your dye and your ladder. We also need some parafilm. Kept right in front of you. Cut off a small strip, you don't really need much. All right, now we're gonna make some 4 microliter dots along the parafilm. So take a pipette, twist the pipette down until 4 microliters. Get your dye. Let's put a new tip. And pull up 4 microliters and just place 4 microliters dots spaced out in a row on the parafilm. So that beeping means our 2-minute run cycle is completed, and we can just click any button to make it stop. There's that red light, meaning no current's running through it right now, and you can set that aside until you're ready. Let's finish making our dots. So you really don't want to do more than 12. There's only 10 wells on the gel, so I like to have 2 extra just in case one dot gets smeared, or maybe I just don't like the dot, maybe it's too close or it gets contaminated. You don't want more than 12 because there's only 10 wells and the gel has to run for 15 minutes. So after the 15 minutes, any dots that you have left over are going to be dried out. So the dots end up looking like this. Great, so let's pop this down. Now let's get our samples. Our samples should live in that fridge as well, and they should be clearly labeled. Here it says iPCR, and here's my NPCR with the correct dates that correspond to what's in your lab notebook. So let me take the tape off of our NPCR because we don't run our iPCR. It's usually not amplified enough to show product. Sometimes if a sample's really infected, you might get some amplification and some visualization on the gel, but it's not really worth your time. So here's our product. I'm going to open up well number 1, get my pipette, and we're going to keep it at 4 microliters, put on a new tip, go in up and down in your product, set your strip tube down, Then twist by pipette up to 8 microliters. Go into our first dot and mix up and down. So afterwards, you should have your product mixed with your 4 microliters of dye, so there's 8 microliters in there. Should have told you before, you take off the holder after that 2-minute run cycle, and you place your 8 microliters into well number 1. Switch tips. Scroll it down to 4 microliters. Go into strip tube number 2. New tip. Pipette up and down. Twist up to 8. Go into your second dot. Pipette up and down to mix the dye with your product, and go into well number 2. After you've done that for all 10 wells, you can pull out your base pair, your 100 base pair ladder, open this up, and then put 6 microliters of this into well M. You can do this at the beginning, I just like to do it at the end. And 6 microliters I find is perfect for me to clearly visualize the ladder without smearing. If you put too much, you're going to get a smear on your end visualization of the ladder. In order to start it, I like to do 15 minutes. You can just click on it. Let's do 30 for right now because 15's mad at me. You can just click on it. It should work. It's just mad at me for the reused rig. And now it is running for 30 minutes. You can stop this at any time. It's pretty great that you can. You just click on one of them, and that red means there's no current running through it. You can pop this out and place it on your self-imager. So to do that, you would literally just plug this guy in, shut the light off over there, and then turn on this switch. Always make sure your cover is on when you have this guy on, because it can burn your eyes and probably be one of the most dangerous things that we have in lab. So you would just put this under, put the protector on top, and you would turn it on when the lights are off. So you clearly be able to see where your product's being run on the gel. If it needs to be run longer, it's pretty great that you can just pop this back in here and restart it with either of those buttons, with the 15-minute run or the 30-minute run. If you're doing the 15-minute run, this light should be blue. If you're doing the 30-minute run, it's gonna be green. Make sure not to pop this out when it's running at all. Definitely make sure there's that red light, because you can hurt the rig if you pop it open while it is still running. So that's pretty much it with the gels. We'll do another video later on how to clean it up. Always make sure that you take a picture of your gel once it's done and paste it into your lab notebook. Record everything in your lab notebook like everything else. I will see you for the next video.